Hi guys, I'm Miss Abby. I am the Teen Services Librarian for the Covington and Madisonville branches of the St. Tammany Parish Library. And today I want to do a quick instructional on how to make a DIY inner tube pencil pouch. So it looks like this, and it's made out of the inner tube from a bicycle tire, which is kind of neat, right? So what you're going to need are inner tubes. So these are inner tubes that have been spliced open and cut to size. When you open them up, you're going to need to wash them because they're going to have a talcum powder on the inside. So you're going to need some dish soap, some water, and a sponge or a rag of some kind. And I would make it one that you're not going to use on your dishes later because you don't want to accidentally get that powder on that. So with your inner tube tire, you're going to need a hole punch, scissors, a marker, a ruler, or a measuring tape, whichever one you prefer, some Velcro, and some kind of string to tie up with. On the pencil pouch, I used a ribbon. It's a pretty silver one. And on a coin pouch I made, so it's just a little smaller, same thing, just smaller, I used kind of like a leather string. So maybe you can see it a little better. You can also cut a length of your tire and make a small string out of that, and you can use that to lace it up too if you want. I chose ribbon just because I thought it gave it a little more pizzazz, but that's up to you, whichever one you want. So the first things first is you're going to take your tire that is cut open and washed. This, for the pencil pouch, I used an 18-inch, which is about this length, obviously. I used an 18-inch. For the coin pouch, about a 9-inch. So 6 feet for the actual body, or 6 inches for the actual body of the coin pouch, and 3 inches for the flap. Same thing with pencil pouch. It's about 15 for the actual pouch, and 3 to 4 for the flap to close it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay out your pouch, the inside up, so you're going to be able to tell the difference. I'm going to see if you can see it here. It's a little lighter, and it doesn't have the lines like the outside does. See the lines? So we're going to lay it inside up. And you're going to take your ruler or your measuring tape, whichever you want. Start at the bottom, so you can see. Roll it up. And every ½ inch, so starting a ½ inch from the bottom, you're going to make a marking with your marker. And that's going to be where you're going to use your hole punch later. So you just go every ½ inch and mark it up to 14 inches. So you should have 28 markings when you're finished. 2, 28. And so you're going to do that to both sides. Both sides going long way up. So you should be able to see my marks. I made them ahead of time. And so once those are made, close up your marker. And you're going to use your hole puncher right where you made those marks. And so this does take a minute, and it's a little difficult to do, but do not fold it in half and try to cut through 2 layers at once. Your hole puncher will break, okay? So just slide it on in there. See, and I'm lefty-handed, so things are a little difficult. I don't think anything's made for a lefty. So we're going to go in, and we want to be a little bit from the edge. Whoop, whoop. We want to be a little from the edge, just about like that. I don't know if you can really see. And that's where we're going to make our mark, our first hole. And we'll keep going down, just like that. Okay, so I went ahead and finished up my holes. It takes a minute, and I didn't want y'all to be sitting there like, come on, lady. So I went ahead and finished them up. And all I'm going to do is fold it up to where that bottom hole meets the top hole, right? And it should line up. If it's slightly off, don't worry about that. It'll readjust itself a little bit. If you messed up a little bit and you have one at the bottom like this, that's okay. That means you did an odd number, but that's okay because your string can go over that and you won't even know. So don't worry about that if you accidentally punch too many holes or they're all wonky. That's the best thing about this is it'll stretch and kind of fix itself. So I've cut all my holes. I've lined them up. And so the next thing I'm going to do is get some string. And so if you remember, we had 14 inches of holes basically. So we want to do at least 16 inches of string if we're going to do a double lace, meaning that we're going to go back and forth through it like this. So on this one, I went backwards and forwards through it and did a kind of a weave. On this one, I only went one way, just straight up, and then knotted on both sides. So it depends on which way you want to do it. It's pretty sturdy either way. This string's a bit thin, so I'm going to go ahead and do a double. So I need, let me get my tape measure. I need at least 16 inches. I'm going to go ahead and give myself 18 just in case. So about this much. And I'm going to need it twice. So I might as well go ahead and cut it twice. So I have 2 lengths of 18. Put one to the side. All right, so this first one, I want to make sure my little holes are all lined up again. And I'm going to start down here at the bottom where the fold is. I'm going to go through this first one. This is for double lacing. I want to make sure I'm even on both sides. Okay, so I pulled it straight up. And then I'm going to take one of the ends and I'm going to go back through the other way. I think I'm going to go back through the other way. So it should look like that. A nice loop on the other side. And then all I'm going to do is start crisscrossing my string back and forth through the holes. And this does take time, just like the hole punching does. So make sure you've given yourself a few minutes to do this. I'm going to show you kind of like what I'm doing because I want you to see what it's looking like. And again, I am literally going back and forth with the string, just like a shoelace. You want it kind of tight. It's looking like that, kind of like stitching. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lace this up. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, so I have it all the way laced up. So I have one piece of string on either side. So there's a couple different ways I can do this now. I can finish this off. I can either take it around front, just like that, and then tie it here, and that leaves this on the side. Or if I want, and I do, I can go back through the second hole from the top, from the back side, and then I have 2 strings on the front. So I can knot them together, I can pull them through this, however I want to get a finished look. I'm going to tie them like a shoelace basically, and just knot that off. And then all I have to do is trim it up. So you want to make sure it's nice and tight before you trim it, and then it's not going to come loose, because once you trim it, you're not really going to be able to tie that again. Okay. So that's one side with the double lacing. Okay. Now say, oh, Miss Abby, I don't want to do a double lacing. That's a lot of work. I just want to feed it through one time. Or the ribbon I have, it won't let me double lace. No big deal. I'm going to show you how to do the single lace on the other side. So my example's not going to look all that great, but you'll know how to do it yourself, so you won't need my example. So same as before, I'm going to go through that bottom hole right at the fold. I don't really have to make sure both sides are even. I want one side to be much longer than the other, because I'm going to knot one side and then feed up. So I need to have enough to go all the way through. So I only need about so much on one end. So I'm going to take it from around the back, and I'm going to come back through that first one. And I'm going to go through the second one. Just like that. And again, I now have both strings on one side. And then I'm going to knot it, just like I did at the top. And I'm going to do this for this top, bottom, and the top, because I'm only doing one way. I'll show you how to do the top, make it look all pretty. Okay. So make sure my knot's all firm. I'm not going to cut it yet until I'm finished, in case I have to readjust later. So then it gets a little easier. So I'm just going to start lacing up. Now remember, I didn't take this part through the second hole, so I have to make sure I go back through the second hole. Keep going. So the single lace does work. It's better with a thicker string or yarn or a ribbon, but you can do it with whatever you want. So if you don't want to do the double lacing for whatever reason, you don't like the look of it, you don't have the time to do it because it does take a minute, it's fine to do a single lace. So this I'm not going to pause the video for because it'll only take a second. I'm like over halfway there now. So this one is much quicker. And if you're doing like a ribbon or a yarn, it's very important to make sure you keep the string or the ribbon or the yarn untwisted so that it's flat and it doesn't look all funky. String, not so much, because it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to tell. So here I am at the top, right? So I've got it all the way laced, and I only have one string, right? So like I did on the other side, I need to take this string, and I need to go back through that second hole. Ta-da! And so you're like, well, but Miss Abby, you don't have another string to tie it to. Yeah, I do. I can use this loop right here to tie it to. So I'm going to pull it through, make sure everything's nice and tight. And then I'm going to take this string and I'm going to feed it on the other side through that loop. and then back through my own loop. And that I might have to do twice. So you can see. Whoop, whoop. I've went through that loop. I'm going to go through my own loop. Oh, well, that one didn't work, did it? It's okay. I didn't go through my own loop. All right. So we want to pull it nice and tight. Make sure nothing's coming out. Your string's not coming loose. Okay? Once it's nice and tight and you're satisfied, you can cut your excess string off. And so just so you can see what it looks like, this is the double side lace. So it looks a little, it's a little sturdier, a little firmer. This is the single side. Didn't take as much time, but maybe not as sturdy. But that gives you two options, two ways to do it. And so once you have both sides laced up and you've made your pouch, besides decorating, the only step to make it an actual pouch is to use your Velcro. So I put the soft side and the hard side, the sticky side, together so that when I pull it off, they already match up, so I don't have to do that part. And I like to put the hard side on the pouch part. So I just find where I want it to be. I want it to be about right there, okay? And then I just take my pouch, measure it about how I want it, and stick it down. Now it may take a little bit for it to really adhere, so if you need to open it up to decorate, make sure you hold on to both sides of that Velcro before you rip it open, okay? And that's just to keep it attached. So you can decorate however you want. I used paint pens for this one. I think it came out kind of cute. I just made dots. You can draw, you can do whatever you want. On this one, I took duct tape or washi tape and I just wrapped it from the inside straight down and it came back around. So that's it. That's all I did for there. You can do it however you want. If you just want to do a strip across the top and fold it over, you can do that. If you have pretty buttons and you want to sew a button here and cut a little strip here, you can do that. I did mine with Velcro because I have Velcro and it's easy. But you can certainly make this your own. So if you want to put your pencils, or maybe you have a pair of scissors that are about the right length and you want to put those in there. Whatever you want. So it folds up pretty good, holds it pretty well. And so that is it. That is how you make your DIY pencil pouch and coin purse. So maybe you're wondering, my gosh, Miss Abby, why did you show me how to do this today? Well, I showed you how to do this today because at our Covington branch today, September 18th at 3 p.m., I'm going to be doing these for our Teen Time Craft program, and you're welcome to join me. Or if you want, Pearl River Branch is going to be doing them at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Wednesday, September 19th. So you can join us at either one, or you can do this at home if you happen to have some inner tube lying around. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me. Have a great day.